From the RAC Arena at UMBC, we welcome you to America East Basketball. The snow has started to fall outside. We are ready inside for UAlbany and UMBC. As he sends his team out there, UMBC 7-4 at home, and as Frank mentioned, Albany has had their road struggles. These two teams mirror each other when you take a look at what they've done on their home floors against what they've done on the road, and that's one of the messages for Albany here today. Play better on the road. Be a better road team.
And certainly this deep in February, that's what you want to prove to yourself. And right now for the Retrievers, interesting if they can create those turnovers as they did on Saturday against UMass Lowell. Both.
We welcome you back to the 24th meeting all-time between Albany and UMBC. A good start for the Great Danes, who have won 9 in a row in this series. They're up by 5. If you have something you want to know about America East basketball, I'm fortunate to be sitting next to the man who has all the answers. Tweet your question to Frank at America East. Use the hashtag AEHoops. You got a good question? Frank will provide a good answer in the second half. And if it's a question about snowfall totals for this area of Maryland, we are both experts on that because we've been tracking it all day long.
The Weather Channel is helpful. Watch this on the floor with his right, switches to his left to the finish. Beautiful job right through the net.
Johnson, one of 4 Great Danes, Frank, averaging double figures this year. And we were talking before the game here today. You think of Gary as someone who's made some strong defensive plays. He's excellent on the defensive end of the floor, but we've seen some of that offense already here in the opening minutes.
And that's what he does. He attacks the rim. He's a terrific defender. That's why he's on Rodney Elliott. But the reason he's at the small forward spot for the Great Danes is his ability to get to the rim and score with great shot selection. Third in the conference in field goal percentage.
52% from the floor for Will Brown. They also have 8 turnovers, which has led to 12 points for Rodney Elliott in the UMBC Retrievers.
They're shooting 57% from the field. Nice on the road, out rebounding.
We welcome you back to Baltimore. Storm on its way. It started snowing here, but good crowd has turned out here on a Wednesday night for this America East matchup. Second meeting this year between Albany and UMBC. UMBC lead here at halftime. They are up by 10. 37-27 is our score here at halftime in Baltimore. UMBC's been good on their home floor here this season with 7 home wins. They fell behind early, and they have a lead now, and their head coach, Keith Thomas, with us. Key, your team.
The defense, an exceptional job passing the basketball to kind of reestablish and then take that to the finish line in the first half.
Highlights from the first half between UAlbany and UMBC. Best in the business, Frank Sullivan, the Down and Dirty Dog band.
You know it. Pretty proud of that hat, too.
You know what? We've got the out-of-town scores.
Out that hat,
Can we just track the band while we show you the out-of-town scores? I'm calling audible here for Paul Druzniak. Yes. Here are the out-of-town scores while the band takes us through it. Go. They're the best. And they're going to keep going, so I'm just going to talk about the scores. Hartford leading Maine, Binghamton at UNH, and Vermont leading UMass Lowell. All those scores at halftime. In that Vermont game, the Catamounts have won 4 in a row, and they have a half-game lead in the America East standings. Brian Vauquel playing his 126th consecutive game tonight. That ties Martin Klemesh for the Vermont record for consecutive games played. Gary Johnson had a great start to this game. Wonder if Albany's going to try to get him more involved. He was their leading scorer in the first half with 12 points.
This is the guy that needs to get more involved right now.
Yes.
Shut out in this first.
It's Roseboro talking to Gary Johnson.
Gary just taking it hard to the rim.
Johnson just left the ball behind, so it wasn't like the ball was thrown. But Jones trying to separate a little bit. There'll be technical free throws here as Roseboro picks up the tee. That will be his first personal foul. Correction, second, because he was whistled for the contact and he gets the technical.
Correct.
So Peter Hooley will go to the free throw line to shoot the technical. Well, this is the scene outside the RAC Arena here in Baltimore. The heavy stuff isn't coming down yet, but it's coming down. It's cold outside, and depends on where you are, but around this area, they're talking about a foot of snow. Could be some ice mixed in. We know all the problems they're having down just south of us. Welcome back inside the RAC Arena. 3-point game here in the second half between UMBC and Albany, and one of the top players for Albany, Sam Rowley, second on the team in scoring, first on the team in rebounding, on the bench with 4 personal fouls. It's a 2-point lead for Albany, the defending America East champions. And our Twitter question of the night regards, who's our pick to win the men's tournament and the women's America East championship? On the women's side, it is hard to pick against Albany. They are on a roll. They've been so impressive, the 2-time defending champions. On the men's,
as he screens, and in rhythm, Malik Gardner.
Maybe Quentin's going to put that on his I want to play in Europe next year highlight reel, perhaps. Good call, Coach.
But how about this guy here? You know, coming off the bench, he was a starter. He was a captain. As the season's evolved a little bit, his role now is coming off the bench. He, like Dave Kadiri, has given them great energy. As we talked about, they've got 11 guys getting double-figure minutes on this squad. So this experience coming off the bench, everybody can contribute. This is the dynamic that Coach Thomas has tried to create.
UMBC on top by 4 here in the second half. Rodney Elliott has 7 of his 9 points in the second half. One of the top young players in America East in the second half. Albany, that 70-point mark has been the magic number for the Great Danes, 5th in the conference in scoring, averaging 65 a game. But if they're below that number, 2-12. But Sam Rowley will come into the game now with 4:57 to go.
Watch this up the court pitch. Malik strong to the rim, puts his own back, and Dave on the weak side. Everybody just trying to get into a jumping match. No blocking out right there. Aggressive on the backboard play by these retrievers. That gets their points in the paint up to 28 for the ball game.
So after the Albany timeout, it's Great Danes back. 1-point lead for UMBC here at the RAC Arena on the campus of UMBC in Baltimore. More America East basketball this weekend. First men's basketball on Saturday as Maine travels to Albany to take on. So Akeem Thomas will huddle up his team and draw up a play here with 1:49 to go, and his team leading by 1 as they look for their 8th win at home this season. Connect with America East through its social media channels on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Whether it's Monday Rewind, Tuesday Tunes, Watch It Wednesday, 3 Pillars Thursday, or Fan Friday, America East is the source for your social media needs.
And if you're Coach Thomas right now, you're telling the players that it's not unusual to come out of timeouts and have Albany change the defense. Could be the 1-3-1, could be a little bit of change with man-to-man straight, could be double team, but be prepared for anything. This is an Albany team with a versatile playbook of defenses.
So let's see what they do defensively. See what UMBC has done this year compared to last year. In his 17 second half points, but how about Rodney Elliott? The freshman has 12 points tonight, 10 in the second half, including that big, deep 3 just a moment ago.
You know, 5 for 10 from the field. He's got 7.
5-time winner of the America East Rookie of the Week award, including the last 2 weeks. And once again, we update the one-on-one. 12-7 for Rodney Elliott here tonight, starting point guard from day 1 as a freshman. And you can see he wants to take the shot with the game on the line. So a big shot guy. has scored 20 or more in 3 straight games. It's going to take overtime for him to get there tonight.
3rd in the league in scoring, and of course Peter Hooley 7th in the league in scoring. They do a little offense, defense.
Elliott with 4 fouls. Rowley with 4 fouls for Albany. UMBC with 2 timeouts remaining to get Elliott back in there. A timeout called by UMBC. What a second half for Peter Hooley. 19 points.
Just his confidence right there on that possession. Just a difference maker in terms of his attitude on the floor and his offensive package that he brings. As we talked about, such a change this year without Mike Black and Jake Yachty, and Peter assumed a big role as a scorer on this team.
20 for Johnson, 19 for Hooley to pace Albany. They lead by 1 as the team's talking over. Let's take a look at what is ahead for Albany. We told you about the game against Maine. That game against Binghamton as well at the Event Center in Vestal. Both games can be seen right here on ESPN3. Then back home at Sefcu for UNH